Now back from Malaysia and Singapore, it's time to reflect. Firstly, what happened? On the 14-day study tour, we encountered many cultural differences, but we all learnt a lot from the whole experience. The first Monday to Friday was spent at Taylor's University. It started with an ice-breaking session and ended with us Deakin students learning a Malaysian dance. During the 5 days at Taylor's, we made an Instagram video to promote the talent show they were holding to create awareness for the new children's show Chi Chi and Cha Cha as part of the Pro Passions Communications consultancy. My group, Social Media, also made a YouTube video to encourage visitors to come and watch the performance of the Star Search. We also got a chance to go to Big Fish Media, who own Chi Chi and Cha Cha, and The Star, a government-owned newspaper. Our last day at Taylor's was a cultural experience as each group was to wear a traditional outfit from a different cultural group. Social Media wore the sarong, and this was followed by traditional Malaysian games. Another video then needed to be produced on the key things we had learnt during our 5 days at Taylor's. Our group did a still motion video using drawings from a whiteboard. Friday was a sad day as we had to farewell the friends we had made during the first 5 days of our tour. The hospitality of those students was unforgettable, making us traditional snacks to try each day and being very welcoming to us Deakin students. During the first week in Kuala Lumpur, we also had a Deakin alumni networking night where we spoke to people in the PR industry. They had fascinating jobs and gave us some really great advice on how to combat our lives and go for what we want to achieve. The person I enjoyed speaking to the most was Mervyn Lee from TEDx. He was very inspiring with his outlook on life. We also had a talk from Steve Gann, co-founder of Malaysia Kini, an online news outlet, who spoke about the Malaysian government and regulations to the press media, for example, the Sedation Act, etc., as well as what Malaysia Kini do to challenge the government via online media. Then to Singapore for 4 days, where we went to Hill & Knowlton, a PR agency, where we were taught about Singapore PR and working for an agency rather than in-house. Another networking night was held for us to attend on our second night, and we got to talk to PR practitioners in Singapore about what they do and where they have come. We also met some students from the University of Newcastle who were very welcoming. They also took us around Singapore. The second day, last day in Singapore, was spent at SIM talking to a Deakin alumni about internships and networking within the industry. She gave us an insight into her experiences in the PR industry and how she got to where she was today. Ronald Tan spoke to us about the boundaries in the media and how there is a fine line you must not cross with the government when in the media. He also spoke about the press licensing in Singapore. Neil Humphreys was the last to speak. He spoke about the censorship in Singapore and how content such as movies and books, etc., need to be censored by the Singapore government. However, he did say in the last 10 years, and with social media, it is getting better and you can cross the line if you do it strategically. After SIM, we headed to BSG Communications. Gregory Tan, who spoke, didn't talk about the company but spoke about PR in Asia. He explained that some Western PR models don't often work in Asia, nor do some that work in Singapore don't always work in Malaysia, and vice versa. He also spoke about how PR in Singapore isn't very well educated into some top bosses, and the confusion between PR marketing and advertising is present, which was something I read before coming on the tour for assignment 1. Our last day in Singapore was spent at NUS, but due to the late bus, we only got time to talk about what makes a good practitioner and writing a pitch letter. Our last days of our trip were spent back in KL. On these days, we went to UITM, a public university that in comparison to Taylor's was quite old. While at UITM, we heard a lot about the university, but Mark gave his talk on crisis communication, which I missed the first time. He spoke about the uses of social media and a dark side when an organisation faces crisis. He used MH370 as an example of this. Then we headed to the Department of Information. They presented us with food and gifts and then a PowerPoint presentation on how they run programs in Malaysia in order to enhance the support towards the government and instill patriotism among the people, as well as talking about their program Malaysia One. They also spoke about social media and how they are still working on methods to use it correctly. Our last day, we went to Go Communications, a consultancy. We were shown some of their programs they have done and heard about the success of the company. They showed us ways to give target publics a key message. Okay, so what? Why was this significant? In Assignment 1, we were asked to write an essay on PR practices performed in Malaysia and Singapore and how they are different. We were to research this before we left. This assignment was expanded on as we went in and experienced all of this firsthand. We learnt about Malaysia and how the government owns a lot of the media and regulations and control over these media outlets. We learnt that Singapore was worse in terms of government control. We learnt the laws put in place and we could compare this to our own media and PR practices in Australia. However, we also learnt there were ways to overcome these regulations to an extent. Malaysia Kini do it. They go online where the government has no control. We learnt that social media is huge, but we also learnt something that no textbook could tell us. We learnt what people thought about it, how they use their skills and ability to get their message across. This tour taught us first-hand experiences. We got first-hand experience on how PR is taught in universities, both public and private. We got first-hand experience into the Malaysian ministry and how they still use forms of propaganda. We got a first-hand experience on both Malaysian and Singaporean PR agencies' work, what programs they do, and how they come up with their campaigns. And lastly, we got first-hand experiences on how PR works in Asia. We met the practitioners face to face. We asked them questions, we got answers, and cannot be taught in any textbook. Assignment 1 gave us a foundation to understanding PR in Asia, and most of what I read was correct, but we expanded on these with our first-hand experiences. So lastly, now what? What will I take away from this experience? I would take away more than just knowledge on PR in Asia. I would take away an experience that challenged my personality, but in a good way. I never expected to meet the people I did. I never knew I could go so far out of my comfort zone like I did. I feel as though this study tour has helped me as a person, as well as taught me new skills that can improve my personal life and professional. I had made some great friends, ate some food I never thought existed, and had some amazing cultural experiences. One of the best choices I've made to date. It showed me what it would be like to work in PR in Asia and showed me how to do something I never thought I could do and enjoy so much. If I could give anyone going in the future any advice, it would be go in with an open mind. Have lots of questions ready to ask and just contribute as much as you can. You only get out what you put in, so make the most of it. You're in a different country learning new things and gaining new cultural experiences, and it goes towards your university degree, so it's a win-win. Embrace the people, embrace the food, and just embrace the whole culture, and you will have one of the best experiences of your life, as well as gain knowledge that will help your future.